Hi, I'm Greg Distelhorst. I'm a researcher of international business and worker rights, and also a professor at the University of Toronto in beautiful downtown Toronto, Canada. On behalf of my co-authors, Jens Hainmueller and Richard Locke, I wanted to say how thrilled we were to be among the 2018 winners of the Responsible Research in Management Award. I think for me, one of the things that makes this award so meaningful is its emphasis on practical applications, as well as the involvement of executives in helping to select the papers. I think we all aspire to do research that has a positive impact on the issues that we care about, and this was an indication, to me at least, that we were moving in the right direction. So our article is called "Does Lean Improve Labor Standards?" and we were interested in the working conditions of the people that manufacture your clothing, your electronics, or your food products. Many of these products come to us through global supply chains, and they're manufactured in settings where workers are vulnerable to exploitation or unsafe work, what some people refer to as the sweatshop problem. This is a very complex problem, but one question that we were interested in is how the private sector could play a positive role here. A key challenge to this is finding interventions that meet three criteria. First, the multinational that sells the product wants them. Second, the factories in emerging markets that manufacture the products want them. And third, and most crucially, these interventions also improve working conditions for the employees that are directly involved in the manufacturing. And so finding some intervention that multinationals, factory management, and workers want is very challenging. So with this challenge in mind, we studied Nike's introduction of new manufacturing processes to factories that make their athletic apparel. This intervention introduced lean manufacturing, so inspired by the Toyota production system, to factories in emerging markets like China, India, and Vietnam. Nike and its factories were interested in this intervention primarily for its effects on product quality and on waste, but we were interested in its impact on working conditions. Before we did the research, it wasn't clear what this impact would be. So on the one hand, some scholars had emphasized how lean manufacturing was empowering to the workforce, and other scholars had emphasized how it introduced new stresses and new risks in the workplace. However, what we found was a marked positive impact on compliance with basic labor standards. So factories that adopted lean experienced an estimated 15 percentage point increase in the probability of passing a labor compliance audit. In other words, this lean intervention that both Nike on the one hand and its supplier factories on the other, they both wanted purely for its operational benefits, also had these positive spillovers for working conditions. And that made it, at least in our experience as researchers, somewhat remarkable among the interventions to improve working conditions in global supply chains. One of the questions that was put to us was how this research connects back to the 7 principles of responsible research. And I think my co-authors and I feel an affinity for these principles for a variety of reasons. At least 3 of them were really important to this research project. One principle is stakeholder involvement. This research would not have been possible without deep engagement with firms, specifically a multinational enterprise and its supplier factories. We're very much indebted to our collaborators at Nike, who created the opportunity to conduct very credible, independent research, and also contributed a great deal of time to making it possible. Second, the principles emphasize the value of both theoretical and applied contributions, and I think as scholars we sometimes focus overmuch on research that advances theory at the expense of research that has practical implications, and I very much appreciate the network's recognition of that value of applied research. And finally, we really appreciate the network's principle that the publication itself is not the outcome or the end goal, but it's a step in the journey to impact. Looking to the future, our hope is that the results of this study might assist other multinationals in developing ambitious, well-suited interventions to improve working conditions in their global supply chains. So again, my sincere thanks to the selection committee for this honor. I invite any other scholars who are interested in these topics to reach out and get in touch with me or my co-authors. Thanks very much.